I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as the brakes of my fiancé's car screamed uselessly against the rain-slicked highway. Betrayed by the man I'd called family. The one Dad handpicked to carry his legacy. Who whispered sweet nothings while rigging the sabotage that sent us spiraling off Black Rock Bridge into the churning Hudson below. And in that final, gasping moment, as the cold water rushed in, I swore on every shattered bone that if God or the devil gave me one more shot, I'd bury Alex Harlan alive in the lies he built his empire on.
But death,
it turns out, has a sick sense of humor. I woke up not in some ethereal void, but gasping for air in my old king-sized bed, the silk sheets tangled around me like a noose I hadn't yet slipped. My heart hammered against ribs that felt too young, too unbroken. July 15th, 2022. Staring back at me from the alarm clock on my nightstand. 3 years before the crash. 3 years before Dad's heart attack that I now knew was Alex's poison-laced scotch. My hands, smooth, unscarred, flew to my face, tracing the jawline I'd last seen reflected in a hospital mirror. Bloated and bruised from the accident I'd never survived. This wasn't a dream. This was a goddamn do-over. And the rage boiling in my veins tasted like the sweetest revenge. I bolted upright, the Manhattan skyline mocking me through the penthouse windows. All glittering promise and hidden knives. Valerie Kane, 28 again. Heiress to Kane Industries, the steel and software conglomerate Dad built from nothing in the Rust Belt graveyards of Pittsburgh. I'd been the golden girl, groomed to take over after his death. But Alex, charming, ambitious Alex, had other plans. In my first life, he played the long game, schmoozed his way into Dad's inner circle as a fresh-faced Wharton grad, then systematically dismantled us. First Dad, felled by that sudden cardiac event during a board meeting I couldn't attend because of flu.
then me,
Reeling from grief, falling into the arms of Ethan Caldwell, the trust fund prince whose family merger would seal Kane's fate under Harlan's shadow.
Ethan. God.
The memories hit like a freight train. Our wedding was the pinnacle of high society bullshit, St. Patrick's Cathedral. 500 guests, a Vanity Fair spread that screamed old money remixed with new tech. But Alex had crashed it, not as the grieving uncle figure, but as the viper in the grass, toasting my happiness while slipping the final piece of his puzzle into place. That night, after the vows, he'd cornered me in the coat room, his breath hot with bourbon, murmuring how I'd never measure up to Dad, how Ethan was just a puppet for his real endgame, total control of Kane. I'd laughed it off, too blissed on champagne, and loved to see the venom. Hours later, on our way to the honeymoon suite in the Hamptons, the car hydroplaned, brakes tampered, tires slashed just enough to fail at 70 miles per hour. Ethan walked away with scratches I didn't.
Now.
Reborn in this fragile second chance, I wouldn't let it play out the same. No more wide-eyed trust. No more playing the dutiful daughter. I'd unearth every buried secret, starting with the one that killed Dad, the offshore accounts Alex siphoned from Kane's R&D slush fund, the falsified emails framing Dad as the corrupt one. And Ethan?
Poor.
Oblivious Ethan. In my first life, he'd been complicit without knowing, fed lies by Alex, who posed as his best man and secret advisor. This time, I'd test him, push him, see if love could survive the truth serum I was about to inject into our fairy tale. I swung my legs over the bed's edge, bare feet hitting the heated marble floor. The apartment smelled of fresh coffee from the auto brewer, same as always. A ritual Dad insisted on after Mom bailed for a yoga retreat in Bali that never ended. I padded to the full-length mirror, staring at the woman I used to be, chestnut waves cascading to my shoulders. Green eyes sharp as emeralds Dad always joked were his lucky find in a Welsh mine he never owned. But those eyes held a fire now, forged in the abyss. Valerie, Cain doesn't break, I whispered to my reflection. She rebuilds. And she burns. First order, call in the cavalry. Or what was left of it. I grabbed my phone, iPhone 13, sleek and innocent, and scrolled to Marcus, my old college roommate turned PI. The guy who'd believed my paranoia about Alex in the first life, only to get blackballed after I died. Mark, I said when he picked up on the second ring, voice gravelly from whatever dive bar he'd closed last night. It's Val. I need you.
Now.
Discreet meet at the Dead Rabbit.
Noon. Val?
Shit. Girl. You sound like you just saw a ghost. What's up? You have no idea. Just come. And bring your hacking kit. He chuckled. But I heard the edge. On it.
See you there.
Next. Dad. He was alive, thank fuck, holed up in his Park Avenue office. Probably knee-deep in quarterly reports. I dialed, heart twisting as his booming laugh filled the line. Pumpkin. Early bird gets the worm. What's got you ringing at this hour?
Dad.
We need to talk. About Alex. Silence. Then a cough. Harlan? Best damn protege I ever had. What's he done now? Spill the scotch again? Not yet. But I have a feeling he will. Meet me for lunch? Le Bernardine. 1 p.m. A pause. Heavy as the Hudson's undertow. Everything all right?
Well,
you sound off. Never better. Just trust me. Okay? For once. He agreed. Because dads do that. And I hung up. Adrenaline surging. Step 1. Plant the seeds of doubt without tipping my hand. Alex was a master manipulator. All Ivy League polish over Midwestern grit. But I'd studied his playbook from the grave. He thrived on isolation, pitting family against family, lovers against duty. This time, I'd flip the board. By noon, the Dead Rabbit was a haze of peat-smoked whiskey and Irish folk tunes, the kind of place Wall Street wolves slunk into for secrets. Marcus slid into the booth across from me, his buzz cut and leather jacket screaming ex-Marine, eyes scanning like radar. All right.
Cain. Spill.
You look like you aged a decade overnight. I leaned in, voice low. Hypothetically, what if I told you Alex Harlan's been cooking the books since day one? Offshore wires to Cayman shells, disguised as vendor payments for ghost projects. His brow furrowed. Hypothetically?
Well,
that's felony territory. You got proof? Not yet. But I will. Start digging into his Wharton days. Any unexplained windfalls. Connections to that firm Dad sued in 18. The one that vanished overnight. Marcus whistled, pulling out a battered laptop. This about the old man? Harlan's his golden boy. Golden boy's tarnish.
Just do it.
And keep it off-grid, no traces back to me. He nodded. Fingers flying. You're different.
Val.
Hungrier. What gives? I forced a smile. The kind that hid shark teeth. Life's too short.
Mark.
Let's make it count. Lunch with Dad was a minefield of foie gras and feigned normalcy. He looked the same, silver temples framing a face etched with laugh lines. his navy suit tailored like armor. But I saw the cracks now, the slight tremor in his hand as he lifted his fork, the way his eyes darted when Alex's name came up. "Harlan's pitching that AI merger with Caldwell Tech today," he said, swirling his Bordeaux. "Your boy Ethan's all in. Could be huge for Kane." My stomach nodded. Ethan. We'd met at a gala 2 years from now in this timeline, but I could fast-track it.
Dad.
Slow down on the merger. Something feels off about Alex's numbers. He chuckled. "Button my hunt. Pumpkin, you're too much like your mother, always chasing shadows." Harlan's solid. Saved my ass during the '08 crash. Solid enough to kill for it. The words hung, and his fork clattered.
Valerie.
What the hell? I backpedaled. Heart racing. Too soon. Just a gut feeling. "Promise me you'll double-check the due diligence." He studied me, then nodded slowly. "For you, anything."
Now.
"Tell me about this wedding buzz." Ethan's folks called, hinting at spring nuptials. Wedding. The word ignited the fuse. In my first life, it was the trap that snapped shut. This time, I'd walk the aisle on my terms, with Alex's noose around his own neck. As I left La Bernardine, my phone buzzed an unknown number. "Valerie Kane? This is Detective Ruiz. NYPD. We need to talk about your father's will."
There's
Discrepancies. Discrepancies? In 2022, my blood ran cold. Alex was already moving pieces. Game on. The detective's office smelled like stale coffee and regret, tucked in the bowels of one police plaza, where the fluorescent buzz mimicked the headache pounding behind my eyes. Ruiz was a compact woman in her 40s, olive skin and a no-bullshit stare that could have stripped paint. She slid a manila folder across the scarred desk, her nails chipped from too many night shifts. "MS.
Kane.
This is preliminary. Your father's estate planning docs, standard review for high net worths. But there's a codicil here, buried in legalese, naming Alexander Harlan as co-executor. Unusual, given he's not blood." I flipped it open, the paper crisp under my fingers, but the words blurred with déjà vu. In my first life, this oversight had locked me out of Dad's shares for 6 months, long enough for Alex to consolidate power. "Unusual?" I echoed, voice steady as steel. "Try suspicious." Dad never mentioned this. Ruiz leaned back, arms crossed. "We flagged it after an anonymous tip. Harlan's name pops in a few other estates, tech bros who kicked early. Nothing sticks. But patterns like this? They whisper. Anonymous tip. Alex. Covering tracks or testing waters. Dig deeper. Detective. I'll authorize full access to Kane servers. And Ruiz? Off the record. Watch your back." She smirked, a flicker of respect. "Not my first rodeo."
Kane.
"You're not what I expected from the society pages." "Expectations are a bitch," I replied, standing. "Let's disappoint Harlan together." Outside, the July heat clung like a bad memory, steam rising from the sidewalks as taxis honked their symphony of chaos. I hailed one to Midtown, mind racing. The tip meant someone else knew, maybe a disgruntled junior exec. Or hell, Ethan's family sniffing opportunity. Time to meet the man who'd be my husband, or my litmus test. Ethan Caldwell was pure East Coast aristocracy, lacrosse build, blonde hair that begged for a trust fund, and a smile that closed deals before words hit the air. We met that afternoon at the Polo Bar. All brass fixtures and whispers of old money, where he'd be pitching his startup's VR pivot to potential investors, including, fatefully, Alex. I arrived early, staking a corner booth, nursing a gin Ricky to steady the nerves. Seeing him again, alive and unmarked by the crash that scarred my soul, was a gut punch wrapped in velvet. He breezed in 10 minutes late, apology on his lips, Armani suit hugging broad shoulders. Valerie Kane? Ethan Caldwell. Pleasure. His handshake was firm, eyes locking with that blue intensity that once made me believe in forever.
Ethan.
Heard you're revolutionizing virtual real estate. Dad mentioned you might be at the gala next week. He slid in opposite, signaling the waiter. Guilty. And you, Kane Industries' secret weapon. Rumor has it you're the brains behind the quantum encryption push. Flattery. Early game. In my first life, it worked like charm.
Now?
I sipped, appraising. Rumors half right. But secrets? They're my specialty. Tell me, Ethan, what do you know about Alex Harlan? His brow quirked.
Je nie une surprise.
Your dad's right hand? Sharp as a tack. We're collaborating on the merger. His AI could supercharge our platform. Collaborating. The word soured the gin. Careful. Tax can draw blood. He laughed. Low and warm. Cryptic. I like it. Dinner? Make it a date. I agreed. Because proximity was power. As we parted, his hand lingered on my arm, a spark that both tempted and terrified. Could I love him again, knowing the blood on our hands? Or was this just another layer of the con? That night, alone in the penthouse, Marcus's encrypted email lit up my screen, Harlan's Wharton transcript clean. But check this, summer internship at Voss and Hale. The firm your dad buried in 18. They folded after a whistleblower vanished. Coincidence? Also, wire transfer, $500,000 from Kane R&D to a P.O. box in Belize, routed through Harlan's alumni network. Timestamp, last week. Last week. He'd started early this round, too. My fingers flew over the keys. Good. Tail him tomorrow, board meeting. And Ethan Caldwell. Full background. Yesterday. Sleep came fitful. Haunted by echoes. The screech of tires. Dad's gurgle on the conference line. Dawn broke with a vengeance. And I dressed for war. Black sheath dress. Louboutins like daggers. Hair pulled into a chignon that said boardroom, not bedroom. Kane Tower loomed like a monolith on 6th Avenue. Glass and steel. Dad's middle finger to the union busters who'd tried to kneecap him in the 90s. Security nodded me through, but the executive floor hummed with tension, interns scurrying like roaches before the light. Alex's office door was ajar, his voice a velvet rumble on a call. Yes, the merger docs are airtight. Kane signs Friday. Caldwell's in the bag. No loose ends. I paused, heart thundering, then knocked sharply. He looked up, that megawatt smile snapping into place. Mid-30s. Chiseled jaw from personal trainers, eyes like polished obsidian, hiding depths I'd drowned in once.
Val.
Early riser.
Commune.
Join the fun.
Fun.
I stepped inside, closing the door with a click that echoed. Modern minimalism. Eames chair. Warhol print of a melting dollar sign. Fitting for a man who'd liquefy legacies. Dad's not signing anything till I vet it. His laugh was a caress. Protective. Your old man's lucky. Coffee.
No.
Answers. What's with the Voss internship? Alex? Dad sued them into oblivion. Negligent audits that tanked 3 startups. The smile didn't falter, but his eyes narrowed a fraction. Ancient history.
Val.
I was a kid. Fetching coffee. Water under the bridge. Bridges can collapse, I said softly, holding his gaze. Like the one Dad's legacy is on. If this merger's as airtight as you say. He leaned back, steepling fingers, textbook power pose. You're stressed. The wedding planning? Ethan's a catch. But mergers are messy. Let me handle it. Wedding. He dangled it like bait. In my first life.
Idebiten.
Blind.
Now.
I smiled back. Saccharine.
Oh.
I plan to. Starting with a deep dive into your handling. See you at the board meeting. I left him stewing. Pulse racing. Seed planted. But as I rode the elevator down, my phone vibrated, Dad. Val. Harlan just cornered me. What's this about discrepancies? We need to talk.
Now.
Panic clawed. Too fast, I'd spooked him. By the time I reached the lobby, paparazzi flashes blinded. Valerie Kane. Wedding scoop. Caldwell merger. Inside track. Alex's leak. Already. The game escalated. That evening, dinner with Ethan at 11 Madison Park was a high-wire act. Candlelight danced on crystal. Plates of uni and wagyu a symphony for the senses. But my mind was a storm. He was charming, probing gently about Kane. But when I steered to Alex, his fork paused. Harlan? Solid guy. Help me navigate the VC sharks. Why the shade? Because sharks eat their own, I murmured, swirling my Pinot. Ever wonder how he knows so much about your family's offshore trusts? Ethan's jaw tightened. Just a tick. What are you implying?
Val.
Nothing. Yet, I reached across, tracing his knuckles. Just. Trust me. Like I trust you. He softened, pulling me into a kiss that tasted of promise and peril. As we tumbled into his Soho loft later, bodies entwining in silk sheets, doubt gnawed. Was this real? Or another manipulation? His whispers. I could love you. Val. Echoed the first time. But now they carried weight. I faked ecstasy. Mind mapping the next move, exposed the poison before it touched Dad's lips. Midnight brought Marcus's update. Harlan met with a fixer tonight, lower-end attorney. Specializes in estate adjustments. And get this, your dad's heart attack meds? Harlan's signature on the refill script from 2 years ago. Preemptive murder. Rage crystallized. Tomorrow. The board meeting, my arena. The boardroom at Kane Tower was a coliseum of egos. 20th floor views stretching to the harbor like a conqueror's domain. Mahogany table gleamed under recessed lights. Nameplates etched in gold. Dad at the head. Me to his right. Alex opposite. His posture all relaxed command. The other suits, VPs from finance to fabs, shifted in leather chairs. Portfolios open to the merger pitch. Caldwell Tech's VR overlay on Kane's quantum net. A $2 billion bonanza on paper. Dad cleared his throat. Voice gravel with authority. All right.
Harlan.
Lay it out. Val's got reservations, humor her. Alex stood. Projector humming to life. Slides blooming with pie charts and hockey stick projections. Gentlemen and Valerie, this isn't just synergy. It's domination. Caldwell's user base hits 50 million by Q4. Our encryption seals it airtight. Harlan oversight ensures seamless integration. Seamless. The word slithered. I watched him, noting the microtel, a twitch in his left eyelid when he glanced my way. Impressive numbers. Alex, I interjected, voice honey over razor. But let's talk footnotes. That $50 mil contingency line, routed through Belize? Vendor payments. You said. Murmurs rippled. Dad's brow furrowed. Alex recovered smooth. Standard boilerplate.
Well.
Offshore for tax efficiency. Your father's approved similar.
Dad.
I turned, eyes pleading. He hesitated, then nodded. She's right to question. Harlan. Details? Alex's smile thinned. Happy to provide post-meeting. Classified. Classified from family? I pressed, leaning forward. Or from the SEC? The room iced. A finance VP coughed. MS.
Kane.
Allegations. Facts, I corrected. Sliding printouts across. Marcus's handiwork. Redacted just enough. Wire logs from our R&D fund. $500,000 to a Voss and Hale ghost account. Same firm Dad sued for fraud. Coincidence. Alex's face drained to chalk. Fabricated. Slander. Prove it. I stood, channeling the ghost of my dead self. Or resign.
Now.
Dad's gavel cracked the table. Enough. Harlan. Explain. But Alex was already moving, chair scraping as he bolted for the door, phone to ear, barking. Contingency.
Now.
Security swarmed, but he vanished into the elevators. A specter. Dad turned to me, eyes stormy. Valerie, what the hell was that? Trust me, I whispered, gripping his arm. He's poison. Check your Scotch cabinet later. Chaos erupted. Calls to counsel. Stocks dipping on the ticker. I slipped out.
Dayeling Ruiz.
Harlan's running. Intercept at the garage black Escalade. Plate KNG 001. Sirens wailed distantly as I hit the street. Pulse thundering. Ethan texted. Board drama? Dinner to celebrate. Celebrate? If he only knew. Rain check. Trouble brewing. His reply. Handle it.
Tiger.
Love the fire.
Love.
The word anchored, even as sirens closed in. By dusk, Alex was in cuffs at a precinct uptown grand larceny.
Wide fraud.
The works. Ruiz called, caught him shredding docs. Your tip sealed it. But Kane, he lawyered up fast. Big guns. Of course. I'd underestimated his web. That night, alone with a bottle of Dad's Macallan, untouched this time, I pored over Marcus's latest. Harlan's got dirt on Caldwell Sr., embezzlement from '09 crash relief funds. Leverage for the merger. And Val? Ethan's clean. But his sister's been routing cash to Harlan's pack. Family ties. Ethan's sister. Lila, the wild card. In my first life, she'd been the bridesmaid who accidentally spilled wine on my gown, giggling about karma for trust fund bitches. Blood money. I confronted Ethan at dawn. His loft still rumpled from our night. Your family's in bed with Alex. Lila's donations explain. He blinked. Shirtless and sleep rumpled. Confusion, etching lines. What?
Well.
That's politics, standard schmoozing. Schmoozing that kills? I thrust the printout. He's framing Dad. Using you. Ethan scanned. Color draining. This can't. Dad would never. Wouldn't he? Or did Alex make him? Silence stretched.
Brittle.
Then. I need to call my father.
No.
I step close. Voice fierce. We end this. Together. Or not at all. He searched my face. Then nodded. Pulling me close. Together.
God. Val.
You're shaking. Fear. Not fury. For the first time, vulnerability cracked my armor. I lost everything once. Won't again. As we dressed for the showdown, Dad called. Pumpkin. Harlan's out on bail. Threatening countersuit. And your mother surfacing, says she has evidence from Bali. What the fuck is happening?
Mom.
The ghost eyed buried. She'd fled when Dad's empire teetered in the divorce.
But now?
A pawn or player. The wedding loomed, rushed to September. A unity event post-scandal. St. Patrick's pact with allies and vipers. Invites went out amid leaks. Kane Caldwell merger saved by Eris's guts. But Alex RSVP'd. His lawyer's note. Wouldn't miss the show. He'd come to mock. To detonate the final bomb. I knew it in my bones. The crash wasn't random. He'd planned a tragic accident post-vows, pinning it on me as the unstable widow-to-be. Rehearsal dinner at the Pierre was a powder keg, crystal chandeliers, string quartet, 200 guests toasting futures while knives sharpened under linen. Ethan squeezed my hand under the table, his parents beaming senior. Caldwell, silver fox with a shark's grin. Lila, across, shot daggers, her red gown screaming defiance. Alex arrived fashionably late, tux impeccable, entourage of suits trailing. Valerie, Ethan, congratulations. His handshake lingered, grip bruising. Beautiful venue. Almost as stunning as the bride's secrets. Whispers. Dad stiffened beside me.
Harlan.
Bail doesn't buy grace.
Oh.
Robert. Alex's smile was acid. Grace? Like the grace you showed my family when Voss folded? Dad's suicide you're doing. Via that lawsuit.
Gasps.
The room tilted. Buried secret unearthed. Voss and Hale. Not just fraud, but Dad's aggressive takedown. Whispers of witness tampering. Alex had weaponized it. Ethan rose. Voice steel.
Enough.
Leave. But Alex ignored, circling to the mic for toasts. To Valerie Kane, the woman who thinks she can rewrite history. But some truths don't die. He raised his glass, eyes locked on mine. Like how she knew about the codicil, pushed her father to paranoia. Or the accident, wait. No accident yet. But soon. The room froze. My cue. Heart slamming. I stood, slipping to the stage. Let him finish. The title of my revenge whispered. Alex, I said softly, mic amplifying the calm. Beautiful words. But truths? Let's share one. Projector flickered, my hack. Marcus's magic. Slides bloomed. Wires. Poisons. Voss payback scripted in Alex's emails. Your father's suicide? You drove him there. Forging audits to frame Kane. Dad's heart attack. Your refill. Laced with digoxin. And me? The crash you rigged, tires, brakes. I know because I lived it. Lies? No, truths from the grave. Gasps swelled to roar. Alex lunged. But security, Ruiz's plants, pinned him. Bullshit, he snarled. Prove it. I don't have to. Sirens wailed outside. NYPD has the server logs. Your Cayman keys. Game over. Dad's face crumpled, grief.
Rage.
Ethan's arm steadied me as Alex thrashed. You witch. You were dead. Twist of the knife. The room erupted. Flashes popping. Lila fleeing. But as cops dragged him out, his eyes met mine, not defeat,
but madness.
This isn't the end.
Well.
You'll see. The altar at St. Patrick's waited like a guillotine wrapped in white roses. Morning light shafting through stained glass onto pews crammed with the city's elite, Rockefellers rubbing elbows with tech titans. All buzzing from the rehearsal bombshell. Alex's arrest dominated headlines. Kane heiress exposes protégé's plot, murder. Fraud. Merger mayhem. Bail denied after Ruiz unearthed the digoxin vial in his safe. But his venom lingered. A shadow over the vows. I walked the aisle alone, Dad arm in arm. His grip fierce, eyes wet. Proud of you, pumpkin. For everything. Mom hovered in the front row, gaunt from Bali exile. Her evidence, a thumb drive of Alex's old emails she'd hoarded in spite. Redemption. Bitter as quinine. Ethan waited. Tucks sharp. Smile unwavering. You okay? He murmured as we clasped hands. Better than dead. The priest's words blurred. Love.
Honor.
Till death. But my mind replayed the twist. Alex's parting shot. What end? As rings slid on, a chill snaked my spine. The buried secret wasn't just his. Mine clawed up. Post-ceremony brunch at the plaza overflowed with mimosas and murmurs. But the real storm brewed in the coatroom, where Lila cornered me, eyes wild. You ruined us. You bitch. Dad's finished. Caldwell funds frozen. All because of your witch hunt. Witch hunt. I laughed.
Low.
Your brother's dirty money trail leads straight to Alex. Complicit. She sneered. Lipstick smudged. You think you're clean? Ethan told me. Your visions, the paranoia. You're cracked.
Well.
Always were.
Cracked.
The word echoed my first death's delirium. I grabbed her wrist. Nails digging. Tell Ethan that. See who breaks. She yanked free, storming out. But doubt festered. Ethan found me later, on the balcony overlooking Fifth Avenue, wind whipping my veil. Lila's unhinged. Ignore her. We're solid. Solid. I turned, searching his face. What if I told you? I died. Once. Saw it all, your crash survival. Alex's triumph. He chuckled, pulling me close. Wedding jitters? Or that fire I love? Not jitters.
Truth.
But voicing rebirth? Madness. Just. If it happens again, run. His kiss silenced. But the seed rooted. Honeymoon in the Hamptons was idle laced with ice, beaches golden. But my nights haunted by hydroplaning dreams. Ethan dove into damage control, merging firms under Kane Caldwell banner. My oversight ironclad. Dad retired to a yacht in the Med. Mom tagging along for healing. Justice served. Or so the tabloids crowed. But 2 weeks in, the call came, Ruiz. Kane, Harlan's dead. Cell block Schenk. Ruled suicide. Note. Truth sets you free.
Well.
Enjoy the cage. Suicide? Bullshit. His end. A final fuck you. Framing me from beyond? Or warning of deeper webs? I flew back solo. Ethan buried in boardrooms. The precinct reeked of bleach and betrayal. Ruiz slid photos. Alex's body. Pale under fluorescence. Wrists lit neat. Forensics says self-inflicted. But the note, your name. Enemies? Plenty. My voice cracked. Buried secret. In my first life, I'd suspected Ethan, his late nights, the crashes, odd mercy. Reborn. I'd ignored it. Blinded by love. Marcus met me at JFK. Face grim. Harlan's effects. Burner phone.
Text 2.
Ethan. Contingency in place. Wedding gift. Dated yesterday. Blood roared. Ethan. Complicit? Or played? I confronted him at the loft. Storming in post-meeting. The phone. Alex's. Your texts. He paled, dropping his briefcase.
Val.
Listen.
No.
I slapped the printout down. You knew. The crash, you survived because you braked early? Or because he spared you? Tears welled. He threatened my family. Lila's debts. Dad's scandals. The merger was his leash. I planned to tell you, after the wedding. Liar. But grief choked me. Love. Poisoned from the root. Controversial choice. Mercy or match his blade. He dropped to knees. Kill me if you must. But I love you. Truly. The old Val would have forgiven. Rebuilt. Reborn? I drew my phone.
Dayeling Ruiz.
Arrest pending. Conspiracy. As cuffs clicked on Ethan, his eyes pleaded, broken. Like mine once.
Val.
Why? Because some cages are self-made. I walked out. The door slam echoing my first death's finality. Months blurred, trials, testimonies. Cain ascendant under my sole reign. Lila fled to Europe. Disowned, Ethan's empire crumbled. Him rotting in Rikers. Whispers of a plea for the unwitting pawn. Dad called weakly. Voice frail. You did right. Pumpkin. But the cost.
Cost.
The twist. Rebirth's gift was clarity. Not absolution. I'd avenged. But the mirror showed a woman forged in fire, alone. Unscarred save soul deep. 1 year on. Black Rock Bridge at dusk. I parked. Wind off the Hudson whispering ghosts. No crash this time. Just me. Scattering Alex's ashes, court ordered. Symbolic, into the current that claimed me once. Enjoy the cage, his note mocked. But as waters swallowed the dust, I breathed free. Revenge wasn't the end, it was rebirth. And Valerie Kane? She thrived in the wild.